Oh, good to see you, Kiryu. Are you set? I'd like to take you somewhere. I assume you're ready to go?
I'm prepared.
All right. Our guest this time came all the way from Kyushu. Chief Nakajima of Nagasu Taxi.
Chief Nakajima.
He looked after you during your stint as a cab driver back in Fukuoka, didn't he? Hey, what's up? You remember him, right? Don't tell me I wasted my time calling him here.
You didn't. Besides, I wouldn't be that ungrateful. It's just... I never thought I'd see him again. Chief Nakajima was about the only civilian I spent a lot of time with.
You tried running from your past back then, too, didn't you? Even went by the alias Taichi Suzuki and everything. Trouble always finds you somehow. In the past and even now.
You said you called a chief here? How was he? He must be getting along in years now. Did he seem well?
Oh, I don't know. Why don't you go see for yourself?
What? Did something bad happen to him?
Oh, good heavens, I can't drink that much. Well, ain't this a pickle?
Oh, come on, Mr. Chief. Don't be shy. Today's a special treat, isn't it?
Well, you ain't wrong there. Speaking of which, Date-san's not here yet. Wonder what's taking him. This ain't a scam, right? You're not gonna rip me off.
Don't worry. Date-san gave me a rundown. That man's a real detective, you know.
Date-san, what was with that ominous look earlier?
Well, as you can see, he's doing great. Figured it'd make you appreciate the reunion more. Cab company's not exactly doing well, but the chief does everything he can to keep it going.
That's great. Glad to hear it.
Thought so.
Wait, Date-san, you've never met Chief Nakajima before, right? How did you even get him to come all the way here?
Well, I might have abused a bit of my police authority. Told him that I wanted to ask him about his former employee, Taichi Suzuki.
What?
Also told him it was a personal investigation and that we couldn't talk over the phone since the higher-ups don't know about it. I asked if he could come to Yokohama instead.
You do know how suspicious that sounds, right? I'm surprised the chief fell for that.
I offered to cover his travel expenses, so it's basically a paid vacation. His drinks at this club are even on me. Oh, don't give me that look, man.
What? I was just worried about you. You're always coming up with all these lies for me.
I thought I told you this before. I'm only doing all this because I want to. Don't sweat it.
10 years ago, he told me himself to come back and work for him again, no matter what. He gave me a hand when I hit rock bottom, and I was never able to thank him for that.
Got it. Guess it'll be on me to tell him all of that.
This place sure is a riot. Hey, maybe I ought to move to Yokohama myself.
Wow, would you really? Then you could come visit me every day. I'll be here waiting.
Boy, I do that and I'll be broke in no time.
Oh. Pleasure meeting you, Chief Nakajima. I'm Date. You been enjoying yourself?
Oh, gosh darn it, I'm sorry. Got a little carried away there. Nearly forgot I was meeting up with you, Mr. Detective.
No need for the formalities. Thanks for coming all the way here. Mind if I take a seat?
Oh, no, not at all. Please do. Still, to think Suzuki-san's name would come up again. But like I told you on the phone, the last I saw Suzuki-san was 10 years ago. How's that even gonna help the police?
Well, truth be told, I knew Suzuki personally outside my work as a detective. Honestly, I just wanted to have a drink with someone else who knew him. Sorry for making a fuss out of this, Chief.
Oh, no, it's fine. You even paid for me to travel here and all. Besides, I feel the same way about Suzuki-san. Wasn't one for words, but I could never forget him. Just that kind of fella, you know. So what happened? Did Suzuki-san cause some kind of incident? He ain't getting arrested, is he?
Huh? No, I'm not going to arrest him. See, Suzuki's been dead for a few years now.
Huh? Come again? You ain't pulling my leg or nothing.
You didn't know?
No, not at all. Had no clue. So that's what happened to Suzuki-san? I can't believe my ears. He was always so serious, a real dedicated fella.
Hey, something doesn't seem to be adding up here. Just double checking. You were aware that Taichi Suzuki was a fake name, right?
A fake name? Nah, ain't no way. That doesn't sound right. No siree.
Uh-huh. Okay then, why don't you settle down and hear me out. Taichi Suzuki was a fake name. His real name was Kazuma Kiryu, a Yakuza from the Tojo clan, known as the Dragon of Dojima.
You're talking about the same Suzuki-san? Ah, it's gotta be a lie. Some big mistake. You ever consider that the Suzuki-san I know and the Suzuki-san you know are two different people?
Fine then. So that's how you want to play. Then explain this. Take a good look at this photo. This guy looks real familiar, doesn't he? Perhaps you've seen this on TV before. You're looking at Kazuma Kiryu. Shortly after this footage aired, he was sent to prison, then lost his life in Hiroshima.
Frankly, that don't sound like the Suzuki-san I know.
What, really?
Guess I should have looked into your story more carefully before coming all the way out here. If I had known we were talking about two different people, I wouldn't have let you pay for my whole trip.
Now hold on, sir. What's with the act?
Huh?
We both know for a fact that Kiryu went by Suzuki in Kyushu. So why are you pretending you don't know him?
Well, I ain't pretending. There was just a little mix-up. Sorry, my mistake. I'll even pay for my own drinks, too. Take care now.
No, wait. Please.
I think we're done here. Besides, I ought to get going. Let go!
What has gotten into you?
Nothing. You're just being a bother.
Wait, please. Hey, stop right there, sir.
Ooh, what's going on? Why all the yelling?
Judging by the way you wanted to run from me, I think I get what's going on.
Huh? What about?
You probably did come here to talk about Taichi Suzuki, and maybe squeeze in some sightseeing on the side. But with how you're acting, I'm guessing you saw this recently.
Oh, that's,
Your plans changed when this video started going around. Suddenly, rumors that Kazuma Kiryu is still alive and kicking spread all over the internet, despite his supposed death. Word got to you too, didn't it? Right after you agreed to meet with me here.
I don't know a thing about that.
What's going on?
If Kazuma Kiryu really is alive and in hiding, then you wouldn't want to tip off the police. Even a minor detail about his past runs the risk of endangering him. Long story short, you don't want to sell your friend out to the police. But after coming all the way to Yokohama, it looked just as suspicious to cancel our meeting. It all makes sense now. That's why you're trying to act like you don't know Kazuma Kiryu.
You got the wrong idea. That's completely off.
Where you're coming from, you probably aren't too sure if I really am Kiryu's friend. In that case, it'd be best for you to say I've got the wrong guy. Keep mum Chief Nakajima, this has all been one huge misunderstanding.
Huh?
Neither Tokyo PD nor the Fukuoka police knew that Kiryu had been employed at Nagasu Taxi. Have you ever gotten a call from the police asking after him? I'm positive you haven't, because I'm the only one who knows about your connection to Kiryu. After all, I heard all of this from the man himself. In fact, he even told me about the first time you two met. He helped out a woman who was being harassed, but let himself get beat up in the process. At the time, he had nowhere to go since he had to cover up his history with the Yakuza. He nearly gave up on life. That's when you entered the picture. You took him on and hired him as a taxi driver. That guy's known as the legendary Yakuza. You think he'd crack in the interrogation room? I heard all of this straight from the horse's mouth. I may not know what's going on in his head, but I consider him my best friend.
Date-san.
Well, that sure explains a whole lot. Guess it can't hurt to trust you then.
How about we turn back the clock? Start fresh, take it from the top.
Works for me. I found out that Suzuki-san was actually Kazuma Kiryu from the news. Saw him in that Yakuza scuffle up in Kamurocho. Must have been a little while after he left our place. All his old co-workers were pretty shaken up, me included. Sure, I knew he was no run-of-the-mill guy, but I never thought he'd be the legendary Yakuza. Also, just between us, a lot of my employees are hiding scars because of something or other in the past. Same goes for me, too. So I was never, ever gonna rat out Kiryu-san to the police. But the moment I told myself that, news got out about Kazuma Kiryu dying somewhere in Hiroshima.
That must have been shocking.
Of course it was. But now, what the heck even was that video? I can't make heads or tails of nothing no more. You know something, don't you, Date-san? Is Kazuma Kiryu... is Suzuki-san still alive? Please, Date-san?
Well, I guess it wouldn't be right if I just lied to your face after unraveling all that, so I'm just gonna say no comment.
No comment?
That's not enough for you?
That's great. Real great. Just what I needed to hear. You know, you're a lot like Suzuki-san. No tact, no skill at lying, and a good man.
This coming from you? You're just as bad at lying.
You got me there.
After getting to know you, Chief, I think I get why he wanted me to pass on a message.
Huh?
When the two of you first met, he had just drifted all the way to Kyushu in order to protect his loved ones from his own past. That was the lowest point in Kiryu's life. In a place with no one he knew, with no one to turn to, with no one to talk to or depend on, until you showed up and lent him the hand he needed.
Mm-hmm.
Words can't describe how indebted he feels to you. Still does, to this day.
Ha, that's so. Then I got something to say to him, too.
And what's that?
The last time I saw Suzuki-san, I left him with these words. You're part of the family now, Suzuki-san. Just be sure to come back to us, no matter what. I still stand by those words today. So if you ever find yourself in trouble, you'll always have a home with us. I'll be waiting for you back in Kyushu. So just remember, you're never alone. Think you could tell him all that from me, Date-san?
Ah.
Thanks again, Date-san. Got to wrap up some unfinished business there. Now the Chief finally knows how much I appreciated him. There's nothing more I can do now.
Come on, don't be like that.
All right, that reminds me. You said I was your best friend?
No, I mean, I was just trying to, well, you know, earn the chief's trust. I had to.
Your words really cut me to the core. They were comforting in a way, especially in these times. Could you not take back what you said?
Yeah, of course. Hey, you want to hug it out?
I'm not drunk enough for that.
Yeah, figured.
Hello?
Dante here, Kiryu. If you have time, come to Harbor Light, will you?
Sure, understood. I'll be there. Something the matter?
No, I just figured maybe I ought to give you a heads up first. See, Sayama's in town.
Sayama? Kaoru Sayama?
The one and only. She gave me a call not too long ago. You up for it? Yeah, thought so. But honestly, you should go. You guys went through thick and thin together, right? Least you could do is see how she's doing.
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry for dumping this on you. I didn't know till just now either. So, mind cutting me some slack?
Actually, I appreciate it.
See you later then.
Oh, good to see you, Kiryu. Are you set? I'd like to take you somewhere. I assume you're ready to go?
I'm prepared.
Great. Then let's get going. When was the last time you saw Sayama, anyway?
When I moved to Okinawa, so that'd be a little over 15 years now. We first met in 2006. To think it's been 17 years. Kaoru Sayama, a former detective in the Osaka police, and the ace of Division 4, the anti-Yakuza task force. We partnered together for a certain incident regarding the Tojo clan. And then, as the bomb kept ticking down, I decided to spend the last moments of my life with this incredible woman.
Damn, 15 years? I haven't seen her for a while either, but nowhere near as long as that. Earlier, she said she's here on business. Asked me if I wanted to catch up and all. I'm something of a big shot at work, you know.
What's with the big talk?
Nobody else would listen to me brag. Well, it might have been 15 years, but Sayama's as sharp as ever. There's a chance she'll spot you at a distance, so we better play it safe.
I don't know. There is also a chance she's forgotten all about me.
You're hopeless. Here, take these. Wireless earphones and mic. We usually use them during investigations, but I'll loan these to you. That way, you can listen in on the conversation, and I'll be able to hear what you have to say, too. Come on, let's get moving.
She hasn't changed one bit.
You look busy, as usual. How long are you here for?
I'll be leaving the day after tomorrow.
How's Tomio-san doing?
She's great. Mama's been manning the bar every night. I think she's doing even better than me.
Glad to hear it. Best you spend time with family while you can.
That's certainly true. But still, it's been a long time. About 6-7 years or so, right? The last time we spoke was when you called me about Kazuma's passing, I believe.
Right. Sorry for dropping that bombshell back then.
It's fine. I'm sure I would have heard about it sooner or later. After all, he was quite infamous among the police.
No kidding. His name always popped up whenever something big happened. You got any guys that buy into the whole Kazuma Kiryu hidden mastermind conspiracy?
We do, yes. Kazuma Kiryu is actually still alive. He's been pulling the strings behind society as we speak. Those rumors, right? What kind of officer would say that? It's complete nonsense.
Well, guess that means his legacy was that impactful. Can't blame folks for making him into some urban legend, especially if they never knew him.
I suppose so. But to think he's gone, even now, I still can't fathom it. How can someone as tough as him just die? How? When I've seen him cheat death time after time.
Unbelievable, right? He was one stubborn son of a gun.
He really was.
Still married to the job?
Pretty much.
Heard you transferred to the juvenile division. That was news to me.
Shocking, right? Some career path.
But you requested to transfer, right? There a reason for that?
There is actually. It's all because of the dissolution.
The Great Dissolution?
Yeah. Remember how Daigo Dojima and other big names started a security company after all that went down? It was a haven for former Yakuza.
Right.
I figured if Kazuma were still alive, he would have lent them a hand. That man is practically the icon of the old Yakuza and all. I'm sure he would have taken it upon himself to clean up after them too. And if they were in charge of the cleanup, then as a cop, I could work on prevention. At least that's what I thought.
In other words, you're trying to prevent kids from becoming petty criminals or joining the Yakuza. Hence the transfer.
Right you are. It's tougher than I thought, but it's rewarding work.
And that way you could feel connected to Kiryu.
That's one way to put it. If I wanted to sound cool, that is. But yeah, that's why I'm bent on pursuing my new dreams. And that's why I want to keep doing what I can. But maybe a part of me is still waiting for him. Aren't I just so faithful?
Sayama, look, the truth is...
Don't, Date-san. It's fine.
Something wrong?
No, you're just way too good for him.
Thanks for that, Date-san. Seems I was a luckier man than I thought.
Seriously, you're telling me. You sure you don't want to tell her anything?
I'm sure. As long as she's got a dream to chase. She's better off without me around.
That's the hardest pill to swallow. But you know what, Kiryu?
What?
You should live how you want to. If there's a woman you love, you hold on to her. Never let go. I'm getting jealous just looking at you.
I guess you'd know best, considering you've gone through a divorce before.
What? Low blow, man.
Sorry, it was just a joke. Thanks, Date-san.
A real heartbreaker, aren't you? But I meant it. Yeah, every word. Just do what you want to do. You've got tons of folks on your side, supporting you. And don't you forget that.
I won't.
Yo! They even brought a couple of babes for us. All right. I can't wait to get my hands on this crew.
Dumbass. Bet he has no idea one of these babes is the Queen of Komicho herself.
Ignorance will do you in like that.
Kiryu-san, I don't see Sawashiro anywhere.
If anything, he's deep inside the warehouse.
Here's the plan. We push forward until we see him in person. Anyone who gets in our way gets taken out.
Hey, what's with you people? You think you can waltz right in? Don't just fucking ignore me! You wanna get dumped in the bay?
If you're gonna bring it, then bring it. Yapping with you is a waste of my time.
That's it, you're dead!
Ready if you are.
I'm on a roll. In for the kill! Looking for a show.
Waste of my time.
Try to block this! On your knees!
Now we're...
It's over!
Time to shop. Say goodnight. No big deal.
Did you really think you'd win?
Sweet.
Tell me something. Aren't you people here to turn your lives around? Or let me guess. You think you'll get a clean slate in Hawaii? And all you've got to do is follow orders. If that's how you see it, you'll never return to society, no matter how hard you try. If you're serious about making a change, start by thinking for yourself.
I don't give lectures like him. Only thing my enemies get is a lesson in pain. That's how it works in Komi Jewel.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
Guess even Sunhee cuts loose when she's mad.
I see the men out front gave you no trouble.
Yeah, they won't be getting up anytime soon. I take it they could use the rest.
Don't worry about them. Bargain barrel thugs aren't exactly at a premium these days. What with the dissolution leaving so many ripe for the picking.
Isn't your job to fix that? Or is this second disillusion of yours just a way to exploit them? After everything you've done, this was your chance to light their path.
I won't deny that. You know, One of them said something rather profound. Going clean was like prison all over again. You know, people like us have no freedom. Of course, he must have had eyes on him everywhere. You never know what an ex-Yakuza will do, right? And I'm not even at the saddest part. We have nearly 100 people working here at all times, but they only need a single supervisor, if that. What makes that possible is the structure of our warehouse. Take a look at this observation tower. It's designed so you can't see in from outside. Because of that, you never know when you're being watched. Meaning, you can never slack off. They call it a panopticon. Any idea why these were invented?
To keep prisoners in line.
And twisted, isn't it? These people wanted to escape the dog-eat-dog world of a criminal. Yet what do? Crawl right into another form of prison.
Tell me, why gather them under one roof, and then ship them over to Hawaii?
To rehabilitate them, of course.
That the only thing Ebina said? If he hasn't let you in on anything else by now, don't get surprised when he casts you aside.
You may want to mind your words. These four are some of the Seryu clan's strongest. And they don't take kindly to insults, especially when it comes to Ebina-san. They also won't hesitate to kill, whether they've been given clearance or not.
Pretty bold for Yakuza in this day and age. Then again, I've seen plenty like that in my time. They have all come and gone. Now, you want to know what real strength is? Now let my fists do the talking! Trick cane, huh? Don't see that every day.
Probably not all he's got up his sleeve. Let's stay on our toes.
Just gonna stand there?
With all the fun and
You're
games.
going to
Here we go.
What an eyesore.
This is delivery. Coming up.
I'll book you on 5 counts of obstruction. This one's gonna hurt. Oh, station.
Allow me. Time to put you down!
The damn bleeding won't stop!
Time to shine.
Watch this!
I'm on a roll.
Maybe just stay down. This is getting old. Well, Guess you're not all show. Now then, let's wrap this up.
Well, he's back to basics. What's next?
I've got a bad feeling about this. Stay on your guard.
We have a winner.
You picked the wrong opponent.
Strong.
Yes!
We did it. We really did it. We beat Sawashiro. Way to go, Kiryu-san.
You need to get me out of here. I can't speak freely around them. Hey, let go! What do you think you're doing? Hey, better if they don't know where I am. Quick, throw me in the water.
You sure that's a good idea?
Not much of a choice here. Meet up at Ichi's place after.
Wait, Kiryu-san, seriously?
What'd you do that for?
We're done here. Next up is Ebina.
Oh, guy's just full of surprises, isn't he?
Ah, tell me about it. But I'll admit, hearing Sawashiro scream as he plummeted into the sea, priceless.
Sure didn't see that coming.
Now it all adds up. So Sawashiro wanted to get tossed in the ocean.
Yeah, we made plans to meet up at Kasuga's place.
Does this mean we're trusting him after all?
Depends on how our conversation goes. Now, I imagine he'll want to keep a low profile. Maybe we'll get to see him in disguise.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Rest those bones.
To think I'd get to share a drink with a legend like you.
What do you mean? You've had plenty of drinks before.
This is different. Plus, a lot of things can change over time, especially relationships. For better or worse. So, Kiryu-san, where do you think we stand? Are you glad we met?
Definitely. It goes without saying. You're both a great friend and someone I can trust. Take it from me, you don't meet many people like that. Certainly not often. I consider myself lucky.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. But I'm almost sure it's not luck. Rather, it's just who you are. You're always putting others first, so it's only natural people want to do the same for you. Being a leader myself, it's nothing short of inspiring. In light of all that, I'm glad to have met you, Kiryu-san.
Yeah, likewise.
Sawashiro, you should see yourself right now.
I'd appreciate you sticking to the point. I'm not a man of time, you know.
All right. But first, we need to know where you stand. Who is Ebina to you?
The visionary responsible for the Second Great Dissolution. And a man after Masumi Arakawa's own heart.
We thought the same at first. But in light of his recent behavior, I'm sure you've noticed something's up by now.
Yeah. The Second Dissolution's just a smokescreen. A shiny ad to pull in fresh recruits. But I found that out too late. After sending Ichi to Hawaii.
Gee, isn't the timing convenient?
It does sound that way. But if it was a lie, I'd expect something a bit more convincing.
He has a point. Look at that. Your slimy reputation precedes you. And it's in your favor.
Let's talk about Kasuga in Hawaii. He's there to lure out Akane-san, isn't he? And it was Ebina who proposed that. Likely to curry favor with Bryce. Sound right?
Right on the money.
If that's the case, why are you still working with him? You had to have known. The hell Akane-san's going through, dodging death at every turn. Isn't she the woman your boss loved?
Yeah, but don't forget, Ichi's over there. As long as he's in Hawaii, Akane-san's in good hands.
Placing your bets on Kasuga-kun, are we? Sounds like you trust him.
Something like that. But with him on the job, I can focus on the real work I gotta do.
Real work? And that would be...
Putting Ebina's fake plan into action. I'm gonna see the Second Great Dissolution through.
Huh?
But if I have any hope of doing that, I need to know Ebina's true motive.
Motive for what?
The waste management business he's running with Polycana. It has something to do with nuclear reactors. Specifically, the waste these reactors pump out.
What?
Nuclear waste? As in, from power plants?
Yeah. On one end, there's spent fuel rods, which can still be repurposed and weaponized. Without strict protocols in place, they could easily fall into the wrong hands. On the other end, there's dirt, water, concrete, equipment, and what have you that end up getting contaminated. These are considered low-level radioactive waste, and while they're not as deadly, there's a lot of it. And with Japan dragging its heels in the decommissioning process, we're left with mountains of waste that'll remain toxic for centuries. The best they can do is silo it off in temporary storage facilities and hope a solution arises in the future.
Oh yeah, I hear about that on the news every now and again. No matter where they try to build these facilities, the locals always fight against it.
That's precisely what Polycana honed in on. For over 20 years, they've been stashing nuclear waste from around the globe on their private island. You know it as
Nelly Island, right? According to Polycana, that's paradise. A reward for only the chosen.
Yeah. Real fitting, isn't it?
Using sacred ground to hide away toxic waste. Bryce has a real sense of humor.
Also, the fee they charge for processing the waste isn't cheap. And I'm sure Ebina gets a nice cut. But beyond that, I still don't know where all our ex-Yakuza factor in. My guess is they're needed for loading and transport.
So that's it then. Ebina's yet another money-hungry maniac. Now, I know I shouldn't say this, but hear me out for a second. If Polycana's willing to bear the brunt of Japan's nuclear waste problem, in spite of all the issues, isn't it a win for the country?
From what I understand, each country's responsible for its own nuclear waste. How does Ebina plan on going around the law?
Well, he won't have to if they loosen regulations. Politicians, bureaucrats, and investors are all waiting to jumpstart the nuclear industry in Japan. And to keep the money flowing, they'd build even more reactors if they could. And naturally, they'd also welcome any waste disposal method that seems convenient. So if one day you hear the TV saying how the government wants to ship its waste offshore, that means they've already started trying to sway public opinion. And eventually, a change in legislation will follow.
Wow, that's insane, right? There's a chance Ebina and Polycana could legally be in the clear. If only it weren't the Yakuza and a cult, I might have just took it and shrugged. Sorry if this sounds biased, but there has to be an ulterior motive somewhere.
There absolutely is.
In other words, you're sticking with Ebina to figure out that motive.
Yes.
You say that, but did you really need to blow Kiryu-san's cover? You know, on the Tatara channel?
I merely read the script I was given.
Huh. Alright.
It's true that for Ebina, the second dissolution might just be a means to an end. However, if Masumi Arakawa were alive, this is something he would have wanted. And if whatever Ebina's planning would subvert that, I'll bring him down from the very foundation.
I see.
When that time comes, I would hope to have the Dragon of Dojima's support. That's why I went through all this to speak with you.
How could the great dissolution we forged with the Tojo clan and the Omi alliance crumble like this? People put their lives on the line to open up a path for the future. But all it took was 4 years to fail.
Kiryu-san.
Guess your plans weren't so airtight. As a country, Japan's not exactly kind to those who make mistakes. Far from it, actually. So yeah, these ex-Yakuza had nowhere to turn but Ebina. Getting back on their feet wasn't an option.
No, something's not right. It shouldn't have been like this. This wasn't the plan they told me about. The plan we all believed in.
Sorry, who are they?
The leaders of the Great Dissolution. Daigo Dojima, 6th chairman of the Tojo clan, along with Goro Majima and Taiga Saejima.